Okay. Okay. Here we are. Here we are. Um, so I have this thing, this persona that I've been working with that I have been calling the time traveling dream oracle. And the ways that this persona has been manifesting itself to me, herself, I'll go ahead and say herself, is there. I've been given opportunities to go back and look at other content I've created and see it in a new light. See it in a new light because of whatever has happened since whatever that point was and the current present day or whatever. And what's been happening kind of weirdly, increasingly, is that it will be as if I knew what was coming, even though I didn't know what was coming. But the thing I wrote or the whatever it was, when I go back and revisit it, it's like I can see in there how the only way I would have written that is if I knew what was coming. So that's how this idea of the time traveling dream oracle came about. And I meant to pop on. I'm going to pop on Instagram over here and tell folks to go over to YouTube. Um, 3, 2, 1 over there, getting everything synchronized. So hey, Insta folks, you can hang out there for a while, but in a little while, you might want to come on to the YouTube channel, which is where I have a little bit more interesting audio happening. So when I woke up this morning, and went through a couple of hours of crying and raging. Really, crying and raging is kind of what it was about. And I was not going to get out of my pajamas today. I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to. And then I was checking in with a couple of people, and a couple of people were checking in with me, and we were just kind of seeing like, how we doing? What's going on? And then I realized I'm supposed to be the example that I can get out of bed and get out of my pajamas and take a shower and try to move forward, even if for no one else than myself. And I think that's the real thing, is that's what we have to do for ourselves. Because in the end, I think we all know nobody's coming to save us. Nobody is coming to save us. That's the real deal. And so we have to learn how to do that for ourselves. So this whole thing, I was going to go live yesterday. I was going to try to be all like inspiring and positive, right? And something told me, no, just, I wrote a little prayer for our democracy. I'm actually going to read that later. It's going to be kind of interesting to see where we stand on any of those things. And so I'm just here to ask all of you, every single person listening, just do one tiny, courageous step to show somebody else in your life that they can also take one small, courageous step. Because it's going to take a lot of little, bitty, small, courageous steps. So the time traveling, the time traveling dream oracle. So as I was raging and despairing this morning over the election results, I was like, oh, I think I've been here before in this feeling. I definitely was in this feeling in 2020 after the pandemic, and I felt like the world was collapsing. I definitely felt this way after the 2016 election, and I think that's actually when my major crisis actually really began. Because then after that, it was just almost every sentence was beginning with WTF. I mean, think about it. That's just how it has been since that time. And then and then I thought about it again, and I said, "Oh, this also reminds me of what it was like to leave an abusive marriage, really. You think you're done with the person, and you're not. And you're not." So the time traveling dream oracle came through to tell me. So 2 weeks ago, I wrote a song. Actually, I'm going to say it was a collaboration. Mike and I wrote it. I kind of came up with the initial blah, and then he did a little bit of guitar, and then I brought it back and like shaped it and molded it and added a couple extra parts, and then he filled in guitar where it was needed. And I wrote it it was a song contest that's part of a group that I'm in. And the prompt was to write a song on the theme of home. And suddenly I was reminded of, I feel like it was, I don't know where I was and what circle I was in, but someone asked the question, like, what if you don't feel safe in your own home? And that's, I think, for many people, not just women, many people who find themselves in an abusive relationship. And, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but emotional abuse pretty much always ends up as physical abuse. So you're smart to get out while the abuse is not physical. And yet here we are. And I've been hearing myself say that phrase, here we are. I said it repeatedly in some educational materials I was sharing in a way that made me realize this is an opportunity to stop and look at ourselves very deeply and ask ourselves, what am I doing right here, right now? What is going on right here, right now? What is my role in the things that are going on right here, right now? How can I be present in this moment right here, right now? And here we are. So the song I wrote a couple of weeks ago, we just finished it Sunday, literally. I'm going to play it for you. And it's very rough. It's literally just guitar and voice. The task of the song was to not orchestrate it, not do an arrangement, not add extra voices or extra instruments or drums or anything, to just keep it bare bones, the song. And so for this song, I imagined that hypothetical woman who suddenly realizes that her home is no longer a safe place to be. And how many red flags do we see before we finally realize we have to get out? And I was like, how many red flags have we seen here in this so-called democracy, in this so-called United States of America? And I posted this morning a dumb little graphic that was like, RIP USA. We are no longer the United States of America. Like it or not, we are no longer the United States of America. We are the divided states of America right now, at this point in time. We are the divided states of America. So this song, which when I wrote it, I sort of like smashed two songs together, because I was working on another song which was all about the west of the medicine wheel. And I think if you've been following me, you know that the west of the medicine wheel is where we go to face death and to face our fears and to face our shadow. So wow, what a great time to do that right during an election cycle. So that's been really exciting. That's been an adventure. And so the song became also about, what is it to go home after having not been there for a while, and to face one's fears, and to face one's demons, and to face one's shadow? And I'm here to tell you that we here in the so-called United States of America, we are long overdue for a deep, deep, deep hard look at our shadow. We are long overdue for a deep, hard look at our shadow. So let me play the song for you. I think I can play the song right now. I actually made a cute little outline because, I like to do that. It keeps me from going way out off into the deep end. I'm going to play this song for you. So this song is about home, but also about one's relation to home. And that's all I'm going to say about it. So I have to go over here and play there. How many red flags did I have to see before I realized that my own home wasn't safe for me? How many times did I hear you say I'm sorry before I realized you don't even know the meaning? The rattlesnake and coyote ain't got nothing on you. At least they give me a warning, but your rage comes out of the blue. So I look into my shadow so I can find my light. I train like a warrior, but I never choose to fight. I follow my heart and I see guidance in the stars. I know my home will always be where love is in my heart. When I go back home to the desert way out west, it's a bittersweet reunion, feels like shadow and like death. Why in the world am I drawn to come back here? A place where I go when I need to face my fears. A rattlesnake and coyote sing a lonely sounding tune. Somehow it comforts me in the light of the full moon. I look into my shadow so I can find the light. I train like a warrior, but I never choose to fight. I follow my heart and I see guidance in the stars. I know my home will always be where love is in my heart. When I have forgotten that where my heart is, I am home. I call upon the ancestors to guide me back once more. The rattlesnake and coyote sing a lonely sounding song. As I sit by the fire, I listen to them sing all night long. So look into your shadow so you can find your light. Train like a warrior, but never ever fight. Courage comes from loving and forgiving everyone. Yes, even that low down nasty no good son of a gun. Look into my shadow so I can find my light. I train like a warrior, but I never choose to fight. I follow my heart and I seek guidance in the stars. I know my home will always be where love is in my heart. Okay, so yeah, that's a brand new song. Brand new song. It's just really kind of a demo right now. So it hasn't been orchestrated or arranged. But the funny thing was, literally, in the last 2 weeks when I was writing this song, and I was writing that lyric that my courage comes from loving and forgiving everyone, I was like, oh my God, how could I forgive somebody like Trump? I literally asked myself that. And then myself was like, yes, even him. Even that low down, nasty, no good son of a gun. Even he needs to be loved and forgiven. Now, can I see myself doing that right at this particular moment? No. Could I see myself doing that with my ex-husband 20, 30 years ago, whatever it was? No. Did I get to a place where I could forgive him? Yes. And that has to do with finding the space where that person's actions don't have that kind of energetic shake, if you want to call it that. When we can have interactions with them and then there's no ill will, there's no good or bad feelings, there's just being an open-hearted human. And now, it doesn't mean we forget about what happened, because every once in a while, I'll get a little tick that's like, hey, I wonder if it would be a good idea to trust that person again. And then immediately there's are you fucking kidding me? Yes, I'm swearing, because sometimes fuck is the right word. So yeah, there are aspects to the forgiveness process that there's always something that lingers that protects us, that teaches us whatever lesson it was to learn. So, of course, now I'm asking myself, what the fuck is the lesson we're learning right now? What the fuck is the lesson we're seeing right now? Because I was waking up this morning and every single sentence was beginning with WTF. So, I'm going to say some hard truths here that people are probably not going to want to hear. I'm actually sitting on my hands, I think, maybe trying to protect my own self. So that song is about looking at your shadow, right? Welcome to it. And when I look back at when I was feeling these feelings of, the cycle, I have some hope, and then I'm raging, and then I despair, and then I have some hope, and then I'm raging, and then I despair, and then I have some hope, and then I'm raging, and then I despair. And each time, it was as if I was ignoring the elephant in the room. I was ignoring that we are a sexist nation. I'm sorry if that hurts. I'm sorry if that stings. But we, the so-called United States of America, we, the divided states of America, are a sexist nation. And so the sooner we can face that, the sooner we can really, really look at that and go, oh, wow, okay. How am I complicit in sexist beliefs? And the other really hard truth we're going to have to face is we, the people of the so-called United States of America are a racist nation. We, the people of the divided states of America, are a racist nation. I'm really sorry to have to be the bearer of bad news if you were trying to believe that that was not true. And then we have to ask ourselves, how have I been complicit in racist beliefs? That's where it's going to get really sticky and hard. Because clearly it's not going away. I don't know if you were looking at the map last night, but, you know, I love me some Steve Kornacki on some MSNBC, and I love me some Rachel Maddow. And I was listening to him describe the phenomenon that was unfolding before his very eyes. And there is no such thing as a red state and a blue state anymore. There are blobs of blue in a giant, vast sea of red. There are blobs of blue in a giant, vast sea of red. So that was really alarming for me last night. That was really alarming for me because I couldn't explain it away. I was hoping for a landslide in the other direction, and when it was a landslide in this direction, it felt like a sucker punch right to the gut. I was like, what? And then of course, I have to keep coming back to this notion, this idea. This is the time when things are being exposed. This is the time when things are being exposed. And so we're going to have to face them if they're being exposed for us. We're going to have to open our eyes and face them. So the last one. That was the deep realization. And I had this realization as I was writing my prayer for our democracy yesterday. Because I was looking at the person who just won the election. And I realized that he is unapologetic about every single aspect about him. And in many ways, I think perhaps many of us are envious of that, right? That he could be just so brazenly himself and not give one flying fuck about what anybody else thinks. Okay. Good for you. Good for you. But he is an unapologetic sexist, an unapologetic racist, and he is an unapologetic rapist. So, sorry, I just felt like I needed to let that set in for a moment before moving straight on to what that means, right? What does it mean that we are a rapist nation? And so I had to ask myself, how am I complicit in those kinds of behaviors? And it doesn't take that hard of a mental stretch to realize that that's colonizer behavior. That's colonizer behavior. That behavior that like, oh, look at that beautiful thing. I totally have a right to it. I can grab it and use it and fuck it over and then just discard whatever I don't need. And so then I was like, well, how do I do that in my life? And why is this coming back to shake its fist at me in my face right now? And for me, I'm trying to be more conscious about how much waste I create and how I consume things. And so for me, I was like, okay, how am I still perpetuating and participating in the cycle of violating the earth and polluting the earth? So, and I want to also just clarify, well, let me back up a second. So, I think this morning also I looked at a post that someone in my Facebook circle of friends posted, and I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something to the effect of, it's like waiting for your cancer diagnosis and half the family wishes it was positive. And when I read that, I was like, oh, we have cancer. We, these so-called United States of America, have a collective cancer. We, the people of the divided states of America, are facing a cancer. And it's not, I don't want to say that it's Trumpism that is the cancer, because that's merely the symptom right now. The cancer is the illusion that we are separate. That's the cancer. The cancer is the illusion that we're separate. So, how in the fucking world do we get to the place where we can recognize that we are all inhabiting this planet together, like it or not, like it or smoke it? We have to find a way to coexist. And that's probably going to be a lot of deep healing for everybody. And I don't know what that looks like in terms of... So, by the way, when they were speaking last night about fascist practices going on in Florida, as I was watching, when I watch the news, I tend to watch MSNBC. Wherever that fits on your spectrum, I don't really care. I find them to be trustworthy. And when they were using the word fascist to describe the activities that were going on in Florida to suppress the vote. My friends, I'm here to tell you that fascism is here. Fascism is not a political party that you sign up for. Fascism is the descriptors we use when these controlling tactics are used to put or keep people in power. So, welcome to the fascist divided states of America. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. So, what are we going to do about it? Well, first of all, I'm going to hydrate, because my self-care today, which I thought was going to be staying in my pajamas and hibernating and not talking to anyone and crying all day long, my self-care was to take a shower, drink water, put actual clothes on. And I put on makeup not because I want to look pretty, but because the producer in me, the production designer, the makeup designer, the lighting designer, the cinematographer in me that's making this little scene to bring to you, wants my features to be distinguishable. So it's not that I'm trying to look pretty, but I am pretty. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to own that. Right? Let's own it. Let's own it. So, what are we going to do about it? I want to look back at the thing that gave me inspiration during the pandemic, when I thought the world was collapsing and my world was collapsing and the world was falling apart and I didn't know what to do about it. And I was looking at the mutual aid societies that had already been around. I had never heard of them, but I saw them pop up on Facebook all over the place. And it's just this philosophy that we care for each other. And when shit hits the fan, we care for each other. And when everything is like, what the fuck, we care for each other. And so we find out what each other needs. If we know where the resources are, we direct people to those resources. So here's the other crazy, crazy, crazy fucking aspects of this whole bizarre situation. So, on the one hand, the grand irony about all this is that I'm betting dollars to donuts that one day Trump is actually going to be the poster child for the rights of convicted felons. Which is so mind-blowing when you think that he was the one that put out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of the wrongfully accused Central Park Five. I'm just going to pause, and I'm going to say that again so that it can sink in. The same person who called for the execution and death of the wrongfully accused Central Park Five might now become the poster child for the rights of formerly incarcerated individuals. So, how's that for a mind fuck right there? So the other thing that is also a bit mind-blowing about this whole bizarre situation, because I'm still baffled by it. I am just, now granted, I circulate in, I think I'm probably in a bubble. I circulate in communities where, we actively try to cultivate light and love and positivity. And so I haven't really been paying much attention to that whole side of the political spectrum. So, my bad, sorry. But actually, no, because I've done that just for my own mental health, my own well-being. So, what was I think it's time to go into ceremony. I think it's time for us to begin healing. I think it's time for me to lead us on a grounding, a breathwork, a decoupling so that we can all reset our nervous system. I'm going to do a little drumming and vocalizing. And then I found this old little jam file on Logic where it's a silly little beat and a silly little phrase, but it feels kind of right for today in a fun way. And so I'm going to end with just a little jam session on this music. And I invite you to use it as an opportunity to meditate, to nap, to draw, to paint, to journal, to sit, to cry, to do whatever. To just feel the vibration of the sounds as I'm sharing them with you. So let me begin by opening sacred space. Ooh, such a moment. To the winds of the south, such a mama, great serpent, come and wrap your coils of light around us. Teach us to shed our past the way you shed your skin, all at once. If we are to become a new nation, or if we are to become a new united nation, show us the way. And teach us to walk that path with beauty always. Always seeing beauty everywhere. Beauty in front of us, beauty behind us, beauty below us, beauty above us, beauty on either side of us, beauty within us, and beauty without us. Aho. Otorongo, mother, sister, jaguar. Come into this medicine space. Protect us from all intrusive energy and entity. Protect our physical being from all those who would intend to harm us. Protect our personal, private information from all those who would seek to use it against us. Teach us the way beyond death across the rainbow bridge and back, so that we may face our fears and walk this path with courage and integrity. Aho. Ooh, siwarkendi. Oh, to the winds of the north, siwarkente, royal hummingbird, come into this sacred space and teach us to drink only from the nectar of life. Teach us to find stillness even in motion, even amid this chaos and uncertainty. Teach us to see our mythic map so that we can find where our path and purpose fit into this. We call upon the ancestors, the grandmothers, the great-grandmothers, the ancient ones, to all those who have come before us, the wise and loving ancestors. Come and be present with us on this day when we are seeking answers. Come and be present with us and share your wisdom so that we may always honor you with our words and actions. Aho. Ooh, great eagle. To the winds of the east, great eagle, condor, urubu, raven, all those who come from the land of the rising sun, the place of our becoming. Come into this medicine space. Teach us to fly wing to wing with great spirit, and hold us under your wings when we falter. Teach us to see this perspective from high above the mountain with eagle eyes, high above the clouds, where it is peaceful and serene, and we can see the greater picture, and we can see how this is all playing out for the greater good. Aho. Mother Earth, Pachamama, Mother Gaia, the one who always supports us, from whom all life comes, to whom all life must return someday. Thank you, Mother, for your loving embrace. Teach us to be in Aini with all creation, with the stone people, with the plant people, with the creepy crawlies, the finned, the feathered, and our fellow two-leggeds. Teach us to model that right relationship so that all future generations may live abundant, joyful lives. Aho. Father Sun, Grandmother Moon, and all of our Star Nation brothers and sisters, you who are known by 1,000 names and you who cannot be named, watch over us as we move through these uncertain times. Illuminate our pathway with your light so that we may walk our path with purpose and clarity. Aho. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lead us on a nice deep breathing 777 pattern. Excuse me. And then I'm going to go right into a gentle, just a drumming pattern. And as I'm doing that drumming pattern, as we're doing this breath work, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to, well, actually first, you know what, let's start just taking 3 nice deep cleansing breaths and opening our Widokocha. And again with your hands at heart center. And on your own pace, on the next inhale, go ahead and extend your hands high above your head. And let's hold ourselves and each other in this sacred container together. So take a moment to sense the integrity of your luminous field that we have stretched down into this glowing ball of light. You are safe in the center. You are held in the center. You are nourished in the center. Just feel what that feels like. And at the base of your root chakra, going down through the bottom of this orb of light, this Viracocha that surrounds you and envelops you in loving light, loving, compassionate light. Just go ahead and imagine that down from your root chakra, there are threads of light weaving all the way down into the earth, down through the root systems of all the trees and their networks of communicating with each other and caring for each other, down, down, down into the center of the earth, where the deepest and oldest and most ancient rocks of the earth reside. And just feel what it feels like to be safely and securely tethered to the earth as you breathe. And as we move through this breathing practice, just allow yourself to feel that cord strengthening with every breath. So we will inhale for 7, hold for 7, exhale for 7, hold for 7, and we will do that 7 times, and then I will just continue with drumming and vocalizing. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. 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 And breathing on your own natural rhythm. And what we're going to do now is we're going to just check in and make sure that our heartbeat is attuned to the rhythm of the earth. So what I'd like you to do is that I'd like you to put your left hand over your heart and just listen and breathe. And relax. Listening deeply, deeply to the sound of your heartbeat. What does it feel like to hear the sound of your heartbeat? Listen even more deeply so you can hear the sound of the heartbeat of the earth. Put your right hand on your belly and begin to sense what it feels like to be attuned to the heartbeat of the earth. Feel what it feels like to have that heartbeat be an ever-perpetuating nourishment. Constantly replenishing itself. And just feel how peaceful that feels. To be attuned. To the heartbeat of the earth. And let it all go. Just release. And just relax. Take beautiful deep breaths. So, I think what I'm going to do is before I go into the jam session, I'm just going to reflect on this prayer for our democracy that I wrote yesterday. And I'm going to skip the context. We've already got enough context for today. And I'm just going to, I can turn this into a refrain. Oh, look, we can sing it. So if you decide that after a couple of rounds you know what the chorus is and you want to sing along, I invite you to just sing along wherever you are. Unless it's super weird to just start singing out loud, in which case, take care of yourself. Peace in our hearts, peace in the world around us. Love in our hearts, love in the world around us. May all sentient beings have autonomy over their own body. May all basic human rights be upheld. The right to drink clean water, the right to a healthy food source, the right to shelter, the right to health care, the right to vote without hindrance or impediment. May all women have control over whose seeds get planted in her womb. Peace in our hearts, peace in the world around us. Love in our hearts, love in the world around us. May all those whose intent it is to silence or oppress women or other historically minoritized voices, may they be blocked in their efforts to do so. May all souls have the freedom to choose who they love and how they love. To all those who have harmed or seek to harm others, may their karmic justice be delivered swiftly and in this lifetime. Peace in our hearts, peace in the world around us. Love in our hearts, love in the world around us. May our social structures cohere sufficiently enough that we are carried safely and peacefully into the new year. May the love in our hearts endure longer than the bitterness or disappointment about these results. May we all champion our right to have a voice in how we are governed and who governs us. May our democratic processes always be transparent. May our right to privacy be upheld. May we always find a healthy balance between freedom and security. Peace in our hearts, peace in the world around us. Love in our hearts, love in the world around us. Hope in our hearts, hope in the world around us. Joy in our hearts, joy in the world around us. All right, and now for the continued spontaneous, totally, I'm not sure what's going to happen, out of the blue. Let's just add some fun to this. The election hangover, temple of grief, begins now. In my pajamas, is it self-care or despair? In my pajamas, I don't care. Tired of this cycle. Hope, rage, despair, rinse and repeat. Tired of this cycle. Hope, rage, repeat, rinse and repeat. Tired of this cycle. Hope, rage, despair, rinse and repeat. How do I feel? Why do I feel like my country is the abuser that I'm trying to leave? What's keeping me coming back here? What do I need to face about my fears? Keeps coming back to me, so I can't leave. You think you're leaving. You've left before. You've been trying to leave, and somehow he just keeps knocking on the door. I saw those red flags 20 years ago. What am I supposed to do today? We saw it coming 4 years ago. So what do we do today? What do we do today? Keep making music. Keep making joy. Heal our families. Heal our boys. I don't wanna be this way anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, and folks who do not fit along the binary, let us not create these false divisions anymore. So, I am now going to close Sacred Space. Oh, and before I forget, Friday during my shaman's office hours, I am just asking anybody who wants to, if you want to come be in a creative grieving space where we can creatively express the crazy, fucked up emotions we're all experiencing right now, the doors are open. Just reach out and I'll send you the invitation. So, let us thank the spirits who have been with us today. To the winds of the south, Sochamama Great Serpent, thank you so much for your presence here in this medicine space. Thank you for teaching us to shed our past the way a serpent sheds her skin. Help us to know what parts of ourself we need to leave in the past so that we can step into the new version of ourselves. Aho. To the winds of the west. Otorongo, mother, sister, jaguar, thank you so much for your protection in this medicine space. Thank you for teaching us the way beyond death, and for standing side by side with us while we face our fears and while we face our shadow. Thank you for your continued protection as we walk through these uncertain times. Oh. To the winds of the north. Siwarkente, royal hummingbird. Thank you so much for your presence in this medicine space today. Thank you for teaching us to drink only from the nectar of life, to find stillness even in motion, and to learn to navigate our mythic map so that we may live a life with purpose. We thank the ancestors, all of our ancestors, the ancestors of the land on which we stand, all the wise and loving ancestors who are working for our highest good. We thank you. We thank you for your presence. We thank you for your wisdom. May we always honor you. Aho. To the winds of the east, great eagle, condor, urubu, raven, all those who come from the land of the rising sun, the place of our becoming. Teach us to fly wing to wing as we embrace the new version of ourselves. Help us to see clearly who we are becoming so that we may step into that future version of ourselves consciously. Give us the ability to see with eagle eyes and to feel that connection to Source, to each other, and to all that is. Aho. Mother Earth, Pachamama, Mother Gaia, the one who always supports us, from whom all life comes, to whom all life must return. Thank you, Mother, for your loving embrace. Thank you for teaching us to be in Aini with all creation. Help us to model right relationship so that all future generations on this planet may have abundant, joyful lives. Aho. Father, Sun, Grandmother Moon, and all of our Star Nation brothers and sisters, you who are known by 1,000 names and you who cannot be named, thank you for your presence in this medicine space today. Thank you for illuminating our pathways so that we may walk with purpose and clarity. Aho. So, my beloveds, if you would like to join me in the Zoom room on Friday for creative expression of the grief for our democracy, I am here for it. I'm here for you, and I'm here for me. That's what I'm realizing. I need to be here for myself just as much as I need to be here for anybody else. And so if you're down with that, come join me in the Zoom room on Friday. Let's make a better world. Cheers.